Hi, this is Janet from Knit and Pearls. In this video we're going to learn how to do the Indian cross stitch in the round. What's really crucial here in the first round of this pattern stitch is to wrap your yarn very loosely. If you don't do that, the second row of the pattern stitch will be very difficult to knit. And then I have a little trick too at that point if that was the case for you. So to do the first row of the pattern stitch, we are just going to knit the first stitch of our round normally. And now from now on we are going to wrap, when we go into this stitch, we are going to wrap the needle 3 times for every single stitch. So we're going to go 1, 2, oops, sorry. We are going to go 1, 2, 3 wraps, and then you're going to come through and finish the stitch. Again, that is 1, 2, 3 wraps, and then finish the stitch. Again, into the stitch, you're going to go 1, 2, 3 wraps, and then through, so that you can see every stitch has a grouping of 3 wraps on your needle. And you want to make sure that you're wrapping 1, 2, 3 on the widest part of your needle to make sure that you're keeping it loose. And I have actually, I usually wrap my yarn around my hand, but for this round I'm not wrapping anything. I'm trying to keep it as loose as possible to keep those stitches loose. So you're going to go through the whole round and do this all the way to the last stitch. Okay, so here we are. I've come to the last stitch of our round. You can see all of my groupings of 3 stitches together for all the triple wraps. And for the last stitch, we again are just going to knit the stitch. Do not need to wrap it many times. So we are back to the beginning of our round, and now we are going to work the second row of the pattern stitch. It's a 2-row pattern stitch. So again, in order to move, sometimes if you're so tight you can't get your stitches up onto your needles. Mine are actually feeling nice and loose and they're sliding up onto, from the cable, you can see from the cable up onto my needle across the join really pretty easily. If you are still really tight here and it's very hard to slide your stitches up and back onto your needle, one thing that you can do if you're working with interchangeable needles, which I am, is you can, this was an 8 that I was knitting this swatch with. I'm going to take my left hand needle 8 and put on a 6. These are Denise interchangeable needle sets that we carry in the store and online. It's just a click that goes on. And now this will be even easier to move my stitches off of the cable back up onto the needle to work this second row. And as a matter of fact, you can do that anytime that you're knitting it around. If you happen to be a tight knitter, your left hand needle, you can go down a needle size or 2. It won't matter if you're knitting in the round because you're always wrapping on your right hand needle like that. So it won't affect your gauge or anything like that. Just a little cheat for you. So okay, so the second pattern stitch of the Indian cross stitch. Now what we are going to do is we are going to slip 8 stitches with the yarn in the back from the left needle onto the right needle. So we are going to, that's 1, And now as we slip the next 7, the wraps are going to come off, and we are going to have this elongated, or sort of this drop stitch is really what it is. So that's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm just moving them tip to tip purlwise. I'm not changing the orientation, so that now I have 8 long stitches on my needle. And so you can see these 2 are a little cross. I'm going to straighten them out. So I have 8 stitches now on the needle. What I'm going to do is I like to hold them with my pointer finger behind to sort of keep them all lined up still. With my left hand needle, I am going to go into the first 4 stitches, and I'm going to lift them up and over the last 4 stitches. So I'm literally crossing them. Nothing is coming off a needle. I'm just moving those first 4 to my left hand needle, and the second 4 are now on my right hand needle. You can see right here they're crossed. Now I'm going to move those first 4 stitches onto my left hand needle so that I can knit them. Again, I'm not changing the orientation of anything, so I'm just doing it all tip to tip. And now I'm going to knit across those 4 stitches. The 8 stitches. 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I have my first Indian cross stitch right there. So we are going to repeat that for the entire round. Okay, we're going to do it again. Going to slip 8 stitches. 1, 6, 7, 8. Straighten them out. Make sure we have all 8. And then the left hand needle goes into the first 4 stitches of the 8, brings it up and over onto the left hand needle, and then these 4 are going to get slipped from the right onto the left so that we can go ahead and knit them. And so we have the cross. We'll do it one last time. We're going to slip the 8. Straighten them out. Grab the first 4. Bring them up and over onto the left hand needle. Then I'm going to transfer the 4 on my right over to my left, and then we're going to knit them. And there you go. There's another one. So that is the Indian cross stitch. You'll just do this for the rest of the round. and then you'll be back to your original number of stitches. Enjoy!